My name is Chelure Daniel, the Deputy Registrar, Academic Administration. On behalf of the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Academic Affairs and the Registrar Academic Administration, I'm here to give an orientation on the journey which you have started from now till the time you are going to graduate. So I welcome you to Mount Kenya University. You have made a choice, and a choice which you are not going to regret for the rest of your life. From the time you started the application process, currently you are now getting into the student management, whereby you are going to get an acquisition of the unique identifier, which is the registration number, which the university is going to know you from now onwards with that registration number. Remember, that registration number has been acquired automatically. Immediately you pay the fees to the bank. The number is generated automatically from the system, and then it becomes a unique number to you. We are going to introduce you to the departments from which you are supposed to start interacting with the heads of departments and the deans of the schools. For example, in the School of Education, we have the 4 departments. That is the Department of Education Management and Curriculum Studies, the Department of Educational Psychology and Technology, the Department of Special Needs Education, and the Department of Early Childhood Education. Once you have been introduced to the department, you're supposed to start a process for unit registration. Here, you're supposed to be given a course outline or a course structure in which you're supposed to look at all the units that you're supposed to have for the whole program. Remember, for planning purposes, this course structure is very important so that you have a plan. Every time you register for units, you are always sure of what is pending and what you have done. On unit registration, we always have timelines. They are always communicated through the portal, whereby you're supposed to register within a specified period, then the system is closed for planning purposes, because this one helps the academic division to plan so that we know which class, for example, attains the minimum number of students, which is currently the 12th number of students. Then you're supposed, so that also it helps us in timetabling. Remember, for you to start learning, a timetable must be produced so that you may know where you're supposed to be at what time. When it comes to class attendance, remember, most of our systems in the university are automated. You'll find that from the unit registration, from the generation of the registration number, unit registration, timetabling, class attendance is purely automated. You'll find that class attendance here is at 75%. The requirement by the commission is at 2,000, which is 68%, but the minimum which the Senate, Mount Kenya University Senate has set is at 75%. This one must be achieved so that you may be able even to generate the examination card. You cannot generate an examination card if you have not attained 75% of class attendance. And this one is interlinked with lecturer evaluation, whereby you must evaluate each and every unit lecturer before you generate the examination card. When it comes to student management, after the registration has taken place, now you are a bona fide student, there are those processes that happen within your academic year. What happens is that at one point you might decide that maybe I'm not ready for this semester, I can take an academic leave. So it will be required, for example, to apply officially so that you can get an approval for the academic leave. We have been having cases whereby a student takes a leave without involving the institution. Then maybe some government agencies comes in looking for you, and yet we don't have a record whether you have taken academic leave officially or not. So it is mandatory for you, before you take a leave for academic, you must apply officially so that it is approved and you are given a letter by the Director, Admissions and Registration. Then on academic leave management, it is normally done through the system. You will make a request, then the departments which approves, the process approves, then a letter is generated. So everything is a system based. So the moment you apply, it is approved, then you leave. When you come back the same, well, that is the resumption, you do the same. You have to apply for resumption. It is approved in the system. Then a letter is generated. Then you generate the letter, and then it is stamped by the director, admissions and registrations. Then when it comes to examinations, you'll be required to be sitting for exams. I have a slide on the same, whereby you're supposed to prepare for the same. We have 4 types of exams. That is the ordinary exams, which you'll be doing after or at the end of this semester. Then we'll have the special, if in case due to unavoidable, legal, acceptable reasons. You can do a special exams, which will be determined by Senate from time to time. Then, if you fail, for example, the ordinary exam, you'll be required to sit for a supplementary exam, which the same is going to be determined by the departmental board through the school board and then the Senate. And then if you fail the supplementary, you'll be required to do a retake, which we'll discuss further on the same. We expect you to be graduating after 4 academic years for most of the programs. For postgraduate programs, we expect you to be graduating after your 2nd academic year. Communications to the students. In the university, we only communicate through the following processes. 1, we use the student portal. Anytime we want to communicate on issues pertaining to student academic issues, we always use the student portal, and it always must come from the Registrar Academic Administration. We always use the notice boards, especially to display the timetables, to display emerging issues or emerging communications. Or if we want, for example, to have an orientation, which will be supposed to be in a sitting, we must communicate through the notice boards. We also communicate through bulk SMSs. And for this, it must come from the MKU. Remember, you cannot respond back to that SMS because it is a corporate SMS. So note that we'll have challenges where you'll be having people contacting you directly. If that person is not a class representative, a MKUSA representative, or a dean, please ignore that person. Majorly, we'll be communicating through the bulk SMS. Regulations for the undergraduate degree courses. Once you have been admitted, you have received the registration number, we normally have a provisional admission. For example, when we come back to normalcy, you'll be required to bring now your original certificate so that they're certified by the department and we confirm the genuinity of those documents. So you'll have a provisional admission for a period not exceeding 2 years that may be extended to a candidate who does not fulfill the requirements of a given course. If, for example, we find within the 2 years that your documents were not genuine, we are going to recall you and discontinue you from the university, and then we can even take you to the legal directions. When it comes to admissions and registrations matters, there is a committee of Senate that approves all the matters that pertains to academic leave, admissions, resumptions, and so on and so forth. So anytime you make a request, don't always expect that it must be done immediately. Remember, it has to be approved by a committee of Senate, and then the Senate has to ratify before a communication is done to you. In order for you to graduate, you shall be required to have completed a course made up of a cluster of university common units, and those specified by the school and the departments as outlined in the course structure. So make sure that you get a course structure from your head of department so that it guides you on which are the core units, which are the university common units, and which are the core departmental units. When it comes to changing a course, if, for example, like the TSC currently changed the admission criteria, and now we are having education science. Initially, the admission criteria was a bit tight when it comes to education science admission, but now the TSC approved and agreed that the requirement has changed. So if you want to change, for example, from education science to education arts, or education science to education arts, you'll be required to do it within the first 3 weeks after the registration of the original program. After that, you are going to forfeit that semester, including the time you have wasted and the money. Then you start afresh the following semester for the program that you'll be willing to change to. When it comes to general examination regulations, in my second slide, I was talking about the university examinations, where we shall be having ordinary university examinations. And here I mean, these are the exams that we are going to do in August, for example, when the status comes back to normalcy. Then we'll be having another set of exams, which is called supplementary exam, whereby if you fail the ordinary exam, you'll be required to do a supplementary exam. If you fail an ordinary exam, that is at the end of the semester you fail, you'll be required to do a supplementary exam. If due to unavoidable circumstances or due to legal acceptable reasons, you fail to do the ordinary university examination, you'll be required to do a special exam. And this one will depend on when the unit is going to be on offer. Remember, it is the Senate that decides when to do a special exam or examination or a supplementary exam. This means, for example, this semester we have certain units that you are going to register. If you fail one unit this semester, that unit might not be on offer next semester. So if you fail a unit that you are supposed to do it in August, it means you can only do that unit in December. What if that unit is not there in December or in September period, September-December period? You can only do it in January, April next year. If it is not there, you can only do it in May, August next year. So look at the consequences of failing and also of not doing the exam so that you sit for a special exam. Then we have a retake. If you fail a supplementary exam, which you did because you failed an ordinary exam, you'll be required to do a retake. What does it mean? A retake, you have to go back to class, you start the coursework, and then you do the main exam. So a retake is like you are doing another ordinary exam because you are going to start afresh, you'll pay afresh for the same, and then you do the end of semester exam. So if you fail due to acceptable legal reasons to sit for an exam, you have a time that you cannot even explain, a wasted time which you'll never recover because you'll be required to be postponing until you are through with the semester. Then, a semester, what are we talking about when we say a semester or a trimester? A semester is a period of study consisting of not less than 14 weeks and not more than 16 weeks. It is a requirement by the Commission for University Education, and it is in the standards and the guidelines for the university's operations. A trimester is a period of study consisting of not less than 10 weeks and not more than 12 weeks. So, anytime you study between a period of 14 to 16, that we always call it a semester. But between 10 and 12, it is a trimester. The decision to offer special examination, as I had stated, shall be taken following the recommendation from the department, academic board, then through the school, academic board, and then the Senate. So it is the Senate that will have an ultimate decision for you to sit for a special exam. Subject to the directions of the Senate, special or supplementary examinations shall be held within the periods specified after the results. I said, if you happen to miss an ordinary exam, expect to do that exam after 3 or 4 semesters. So make sure, even if there are so pressing issues, make a priority to have the exam as an ordinary exam. Each university ordinary examination paper shall be graded out of 70 marks. Remember, the coursework counts for 30%. So you must take it very serious. If, for example, you have been given a unit or a unit which is online, and you have been given, for example, an assignment, make sure that what you are presenting is what you have researched on, understood, and then put it in writing using your own words. But if you have to quote somebody, make sure that you acknowledge that person on the reference. Each unit shall be graded out of 100 marks, and the pass mark shall be 40% unless otherwise specified in specific programs. For the School of Education, the pass mark for all the units is at 40%. But when it comes to the College of, for example, Health Sciences, which we have in the university, the pass mark is at 50%. The marks shall be translated into the letter grades and grade points as follows. 70 and above is an A. 60 to 69% is a B. 50 to 59 is a C. And 40 to 49 is a D. 39% and below is a fail. But I don't see the reason why you should get 39% and below, given that the coursework accounts for 30%, which you have all the time to do research. The minimum I expect you, after you have done all the research on that unit, is at least 20 out of 30. So that when it comes to exams, you'll be looking for something that can better your grade. Grade transfers for advanced training may be given to a maximum of 10 units for diploma holders and 49% of the minimum required units for award of a degree for transferees from other universities. You'll realize that if you have done a diploma, you can request for credit transfers to a tune of 10. But this one depends on, first, if you did it in an accredited institution, the diploma that you have. 2, if you have a B and above. And 3, if you have cleared that program and you have been given certified transcripts. But if you are transferring from another institution to MKU, remember it is approved by the commission. You can transfer from an institution to another institution, but the only thing you can get is 49% of what you have done, with the conditions that you must have passed those unit transfers you are requesting for, and you have met the requirements for the transfers from one university to another. That means you must have cleared from another institution for you to be accepted. If you have been discontinued from another institution due to disciplinary issues, you are going to be discontinued also from studying from Mount Kenya University. Transferred marks and grades will appear in the academic transcript, but the marks will not be used in the certificate, diploma, or degree classification. You realize that if you have been given a credit transfer, it will always be appearing as a credit transfer, and it cannot be used to grade you, to give you an average of the pass or of the certificate that you're going to have after you are through with your studies in Mount Kenya University. Academic warning: a student who fails in more than half the units taken in any one semester or trimester shall be given an academic warning by the Registrar Academic Administration. What does it say? You have, for example, you have 6 units which you have registered for this semester, and you have failed half of them. That is 3 you have Fs, 3 you have As. You are going to get an academic warning. So anytime you have a fail in more than half of the units taken, you'll be given an academic warning. If your cumulative average score is at the pass mark, remember pass mark we said is at 40. In any one semester or trimester, you shall be given an academic warning, and you shall be on an academic probation. What does it mean? Your cumulative average score, you have all 40s, That is the pass mark, remember, is between 40 and 49. So if you have 40s all through, you are going to get an academic warning. And if, for example, you have fails and you have A's, remember when you look for the cumulative average score, you are going to get, it is at the pass mark. You're also going to get an academic warning. A student on academic probation, the ones that whose cumulative average score is at pass mark, is always going to be on a watch list. This means if you happen to get another average, the cumulative average score in another semester is at pass, you are going to get another warning. The third one, you are going to be discontinued from that program, and then you do, or you go for another program within the university. Discontinuation. This one is discontinuation on matters academics. A candidate whose cumulative average score is 39% and below will be discontinued from studying at Mount Kenya University. Remember, in this slide, we are talking of an academic warning when you have a cumulative average score is at the pass mark, or when you fail half of the units. This one is talking of a candidate whose cumulative average score is 39% and below. So if within 1 year, your cumulative average score is less than 39%, or it is 39% and below, you are going to be discontinued from studying in Mount Kenya University. A candidate who is involved in examination irregularity more than once shall be discontinued from studying from Mount Kenya University. We shall be looking at the examination malpractices that you're supposed to be aware of, so that you are cautioned before you sit for the exams. Appeal against discontinuation is always there. Candidates will be allowed to appeal within a period of 1 year to the Senate from the date of discontinuation, and this one is only done to the Vice Chancellor, and the Appeals Committee will hear the appeal and make appropriate recommendations to the Senate. The committee may recommend either upholding the earlier decision or pardon the students. So you'll realize that after you have been discontinued because of poor performance, you can always appeal to the university through the Vice Chancellor in a period of 1 year. So you have all the time to think, reflect, and think what happened, so that you can appeal to the university. And the Appeals Committee's decision is always final. When you have studied, done your research very well, and then you find that the grade that you have gotten does not fit what you studied, there is always a room for reassessment. You can request for a remark of the exam that you did the previous semester. And this one can only be done, or is only done, to the Registrar Academic Administration not later than 30 days after the release of the results. Remember, you will always, after the University Examination Board sits, the results will be published. After they have been published in your portal, and you find that your grades are not befitting what you have done or what you researched on, you have a way to appeal for a remark or reassessment. So after you see the results, that is when you can only appeal. You cannot appeal if you have not seen the results. There shall be a remarking fee, which the Senate will determine from time to time. So be prepared. By the time you are making a reassessment appeal, you know that it must have a fee connotation on it. The examination malpractices, we have various examination malpractices which we have had from time to time. You find that as time goes on, students invent new ways of cheating. And I give you an example. A student might find that he has not studied well. Yes, he's not comfortable, but he's 50-50 on what he's supposed to do. So that person goes to a point where he can even confuse us by having a wrong registration number. That is the newest form of cheating. And In our case, we are going to categorize that form of cheating as impersonation. It's like somebody else is doing an exam for you. And the consequence for the same is dire, as we shall see from the penalties that the University Senate has set. So if you are copying or reading from another candidate's script or from any other unauthorized source, for example, writing on desks, walls, skins, clothes, there are those even who write on a tissue paper. And I don't know the time they have. That time that is wasted when you're doing something like that can only be done or can only be recovered if you just sit and concentrate on your work. From the first day you're starting your study to the last day, you'll never have time to waste trying to jot something that is invisible to others, but it is visible to you. So the penalty is going to be the cancellation of the candidate's examination results in all the units registered for in that semester. Then you'll be suspended from the university for 1 academic year, and on readmission, you're going to repeat the semester in which the offense was committed. Then you might be given a written warning from the Registrar Academic Administration, and if you repeat any other academic irregularity, you are going to be expelled from the university. Then we have collision abetting in an examination, thesis, project, and coursework assignment. The same applies. You are going to cancel all the candidate's examination results in all units registers for in that semester. Then you are going to be suspended from the university for 1 academic year, and on repeat, you are going to be expelled from the university. Possessing any written materials relevant to the examination in the examination room. Most of the time you find that maybe you were studying in that room and you are not aware that there was another exam or the exam was taking place in that. Then before even you realize, because sometimes during the exams you'll be confused. So you'll be forced. Maybe you might find that you still have your notes and you decide just to throw them under your desk. That one is, you're still in possession of that written material which is relevant to that exam. So the penalty is going to be the cancellation of the candidate's examination results in all the units registered. Remember, look at it in this point. It might be the last exam, which maybe the devil has visited you, and you want to see how you can beat the system. As I was saying, every time you make this irregularity, you'll be always be followed by a guilt. You cannot be able to settle until you are through with your exam. And if it happens, remember, as I was talking of the units on offer in each and every semester, if you fail, if you are suspended for 1 year, you're going to lose the whole of that year, plus the semester which you are caught, and you'll pay back for that semester and start afresh. So you'll have lost 4 semesters. So the students will be the students in your cohort whom you are admitted together with, they'll be in year 2, semester 2, and you'll be in year 1, semester 1. So be cautious. If you are caught in 4th year, you are going to lose another 2 years before you recover from the same. And remember, our graduation is always in July or in December. If normalcy comes back before June, which we pray for it, we'll have the graduation, for example, in July. If you are caught in April, or if you are caught in December, you cannot graduate in July, you cannot graduate in December, you'll graduate next year in December. So imagine the time you'll have wasted before. So think about it before you act on any irregularity. Passing or receiving relevant verbal, non-verbal cues, written or electronic communication to or from other candidates or any other source during the examination. Those students will always be having something on their ear, Bluetooth thing. Maybe they are communicating with outsiders and they are asking questions and they are getting answers. Or maybe they have a snapshot and then they have sent it. Then they are just getting results through the gadget. Remember, it is not allowed for you to have any electronic gadget in the examination room. Even if it is on an off mode, make sure that during the exams, you just leave it at home because it might put you in a jeopardy. Then we have, this is what I've talked about, possession of electronic gadgets such as mobile phones, MP3 and MP4 players, iPod, Bluetooth, wireless earphones, programmable calculators, or any other such unauthorized equipments or gadgets in the examination venue. That is what I've been talking about. You might be getting information through those gadgets, and the penalty is cancellation of all the examination card's results in the units registered for in that semester, then suspension from the university, a written warning from the registrar, or expulsion from the university in case of a repeat of the same. Then we have possession of used or unused examination answer booklets in the examination venue during the examination, other than the one issued by the invigilator. So you'll have that most of the students will try to beat the system by coming up with their own booklets. But lucky enough, the current booklet that the university is using is very secure. Very secure in such a way that it is paginated. We only have a reader which shows it is an MKU booklet, and that one is only in possession of the director of exams. Then it has very key security features that you cannot forge. If you photocopy it, it will always be showing it is void. So for the booklet, there we are very secure. But in case you are caught, maybe the last exam you sat, you happen to disappear with one booklet, which the invigilator must account for, because the accounting process is very, very thorough. The booklets that you took from the examination directorate, you must return the same. You must account for all those booklets. So if you are caught with that booklet, all your results are going to be cancelled, which you have registered for that semester. You'll be suspended from the university for 1 academic year, and then you'll be expelled from the university in case of a repeat of any examination irregularity. Then we have carrying an answer booklet out of the examination room. You'll find that maybe by the time the invigilator was leaving, you had not finished. Remember, the time that you are given by the invigilator remains the same. If the invigilator, for example, delayed by 5 minutes, and you're supposed to start your exam at 8 and end it at 10, you're supposed to be given at least 5 additional minutes so that you cover exactly 2 hours. But if you happen to have not completed, it's better you release it before the invigilator leaves the room rather than having the consequences that you can have. That is, all your exams being cancelled, suspension from the university for 1 academic year, a written warning from the registrar academic administration if the matter is of a lesser grief, then expulsion from the university. If any other matter, examination irregularities happens, you can be expelled. Then destroying evidence which may be used to prove an examination irregularity. You find that there are those students who normally have very short notes, very tiny notes, written in a micro book. I don't want to call it Mokenya, but it is something that you wonder when that person does it, because it can only be opened using a sharp-pointed ballpoint. You realize that most of the people, and it's normally even stapled, when you get such a person, that person swallows. Now you start wondering, it has a staple pin, then it is a paper, and that person has swallowed. If your just next neighbor student agrees to testify against you that you have swallowed that paper, the consequence of the penalty is the same. All your results are going to be cancelled, and it is only, the requirement is only that person to testify, plus now the invigilator, and say this person destroyed the evidence which may be used to prove an examination irregularity. Then we have obstructing the invigilator while he or she is performing his or her duties. or use of personal violence and or threats against the invigilator. That one doesn't have options. That one is cancellation of your exams, then you're expelled from the university. Presenting oneself in the examination venue under the influence of drugs or substance abuse and being disorderly and causing disturbance in the examination room. There are those who just come, they are so overconfident. They come and they want to show you that I can do the exam even while I am drunk or when I'm under the influence of those substance abuse drugs. So you find that this person doesn't write anything. I remember we had a case of a student who, when he was confronted by the invigilator, he tore the cover page and put it in the mouth. We had to call for the security. Then he's presented to the security, then he's detained until he becomes sober. But when you are caught in such a case, even if you had done all the exams are going to be cancelled. If this was your last exam, you have come while drunk, all your exams are going to be cancelled. You're going to be suspended from the university for 1 academic year, and then you're going to be expelled from the university in case of a repeat of any examination irregularity. Impersonation is like obstructing the invigilator. Impersonation is where you send a student to come and sit for you. You have sent a friend. Maybe you are not understanding mathematics, some concepts in mathematics, and you want somebody to assist you. You send somebody to come and sit on your behalf. Or you exchange. You find that because you understand real estate more than mathematics, you exchange. You do for me mathematics, then I'll do for you psychology. You find that you are sitting that exam on behalf of that person. So the consequence is expulsion from the university. We have been having cases where some people, very senior in those high schools, send their junior staff because they want to make sure that if that person, for example, is employed by a board, he wants to retain that position, go and do exams for the principal or the deputy principal. And in this case, you fall into the trap. So you'll be expelled from the university, both of you, if you are students in the university. Possession and usage of a fake examination card. Maybe you have not paid fees and you have seen that your friend has managed and have been able to print the examination card. Then you fall into the trap of forging that examination card. So because you're doing the same units, you want to sit for the same exams which you have not paid for. You are going to cancel the card-based examinations results for all. Then you are going to be suspended from the university for 1 academic year. Then if it is a research document which you forged, you will be required to resubmit the research work for the examination, and you defend again where applicable. If you repeat any other examination irregularity, you are going to be expelled from the university. If you sit for an exam in a unit you have not duly registered or authorized to sit for, remember, if you have not done an exam, maybe because you don't have enough fees, please, instead of falling into this trap, make sure that you take an academic leave. When you are back, prepare to sit for a special exam. Don't fall in the trap of sitting for an exam which you have not duly registered. Remember, you will be shown by different people from the admissions and the departments on how you're supposed to register online, and then how you're supposed to generate the exam card. After you have paid fees, you have evaluated the lecturer, and you have attained 75% of class attendance. After that, the examination card will just come automatically. So if you don't have a unit and you feel that you want to do that unit because you want to beat the system, please forget about it. What will happen if you are caught sitting for a unit which you have not registered for? Cancellation of your exams results in the unit concerned. Then you will take the unit when next on offer. Then you will be expelled from the university in case of a repeat of any other examination irregularity. Then the last one is plagiarism, whereby plagiarism is copying from somebody's work without acknowledging that person. Anytime you do a research, you must acknowledge if it is a certain person who have done that work. You must acknowledge that person. If you don't acknowledge that person, it amounts to plagiarism. So if you copy and you don't acknowledge that person, the penalty is that everything is going to be cancelled. You are going to be suspended from the university for 1 academic year, and on readmission, you start. On readmission, you can start your research work. If it is a research work, for example, if it is a thesis, you have to resubmit all your research afresh. If you repeat the same, you are going to be expelled from the university. And if you have graduated and we note later that you copied, you plagiarized somebody's document, you are going to recall the degree or the award for all the graduates, for the graduates who happen to fall into that trap. And the university plagiarism policy shall apply. For the programs in which examinations are done at the end of the academic year, students convicted of examination irregularity shall pay and register to retake all the units done in the academic year in which the offense was committed. So I want to urge you, students, that don't fall into this trap. Because when you fall into this trap, you can see very clearly that we have very dire consequences. And for you to run away from this is only plan yourself, study, and make sure that you have done your research well and you are ready for any examination. I want to leave you in my conclusion with an African quote that every morning in Africa, an antelope wakes up. It knows that it must outrun the fastest lion or it will be killed. And every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up. It knows that it must outrun the slowest antelope or it will starve. We have the two scenarios whereby one is running for survival. Both are running for survival, but one is running not to be killed. The other one is running so that it doesn't starve to death. That is the lion. So it doesn't matter whether you are a lion or an antelope. When the sun rises up, you better be running. Thank you for choosing Mount Kenya University as your institution of choice. This is a place you are going to unlock your infinite possibilities. And when the status of normalcy returns to the country, our offices are in Alumni Plaza, first floor, the left wing. Our doors are open. Always come and consult on any academic matter. If you want to be advised, come to the Registrar Academic Administration and we'll always advise you so that you have a better stay at the university in terms of academic. I wish you success in all your endeavors. Thank you, and may God bless you. Thank you.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.